Before Your Eyes is more of a story or a journey than a game. Sure, there are gameplay elements that I'll be getting into, but the biggest focus of this game is with its narrative and the way it's told. The story opens up on a boat. You've been fished up by this fella right here, the ferryman. He spends his time sailing through the ocean looking for souls. Souls who can tell a good story, who've lived a good life. But why? Well, I'll let the ferryman do the explaining.
Now you see that tower out there? Big, scary one? That's where I'm taking you to see the gatekeeper. To be judged. I'm gonna present your case. Tell her the whole story of your entire life, from prow to stern. Now if she's impressed, I get paid the Bitcoin, and you get yourself a spot in her magnificent city.
And there you have it. So, you tell your story to the ferryman, and you bring him through your whole life from beginning to end. And I haven't even gone over one of the main aspects that makes this game so interesting. To play this game, you're going to need a webcam or a camera of some sort, because blinking is the main mechanic that the game uses to tell its story. You're free to move your cursor to look around, and whenever there's a symbol like this one, aim at it and blink to interact with it. This is used in many different ways to engage with all kinds of things. But there is a catch to the blinking. When that metronome appears at the bottom of the screen, the next time you blink, you'll fast forward in time. So when you're telling the ferryman of your life, the things you've done, the moments you've had, inevitably you'll find yourself in a moment where you don't want to blink. You want to stay there and live in that moment. But time moves on, and so does the story. You could also be right in the middle of a scene. Someone could be talking to you, and you might want to listen to them, but that metronome might appear, and blinking can be involuntary.
You broke my talking rules, but I asked you to, so I guess I'll...
You see what I mean? It might sound annoying, but it helps everything feel more real. Like sure, each scene is just a small memory, but maybe if you never blinked, that memory isn't just a scene anymore. It's an hour, a day, a week, a year, it's your life. And even if you might not want to blink, it's inevitable. Just like time moving forward, just like things moving on. I know that the idea of blinking being a gameplay mechanic still might sound questionable to some, and if it's that much of a deal breaker to you, there is the option to use mouse clicks instead of blinks to interact with things. But for the reasons I've just gone over, I think that doing that takes away from the experience a lot. You aren't really meant to have that much power on choosing when a scene should end, and so you should really try using some kind of webcam for the game. It doesn't even have to be an actual webcam. I connected my phone to my PC and used that as a camera instead. On that note, I want to mention that, in my experience, I never had any issues with my blinks being registered incorrectly, so you shouldn't have to worry about that. Anyway, you can probably guess from the premise alone that this can be a bit of an emotional roller coaster of a game. There are even choices that you have to make, and they have weight because they'll alter how events play out.
Wow, didn't think you'd actually pick up.
I've been meaning to say it, but I want to take a moment to appreciate these visuals. I think the art team did a fantastic job with both its art style and the way it's presented. First off, I love how everything looks. It's a really charming aesthetic, and I think it looks fantastic. And what do I mean when I say I love the way it's presented? Well, when you have a memory, not everything is clear. Things are slightly hazy, and you never get the full picture. It's only the key aspects of a moment that you remember clearly. When thinking of ways to translate that into actual imagery, the team behind this game went the route of making it like you're looking through a collection of windows into the mind, and those windows are positioned over the important parts of the memory. Needless to say, I think it looks great. The soundtrack is also really good. It subconsciously helps add emotion to scenes, whether it helps you feel happy or it helps you feel sad. It could be any emotion, and the soundtrack will be right there with you, helping convey those feelings. There is so much more I want to talk about with this game. I want to talk about what happens, the characters you meet, the stellar voice acting helping realize those characters. But at the same time, this game will be a better experience when you go into it without knowing a whole lot. And that's why I've been avoiding talking much about the people you get to meet and the story you get to experience. Look, all in all, this is a beautifully crafted game. The narrative, visuals, soundtrack, voice acting, they are all superb, and even if the game is somewhat on the short side, with it lasting around an hour and a half, in my opinion it's one of its strengths, because this is a game that's meant to be beaten in one sitting. For €9 on Steam, this is a game I can wholly recommend. Try it for yourself and watch the story unfold before your eyes.